was riding my bike this morning and I was thinking about doing another core workout afterwards, and what would be complementary to what I just did. And since I was on an unstable surface, like my bike, I thought maybe I'd do an unstable core workout. So if you've got a ballast ball or stability ball, go ahead and grab it. Let's get started. So once you have your ball, go ahead and position yourself so the ball is kind of supporting the small of your back. Take your hands behind your head and you start with that nice strong warm-up. So squeeze your glutes, get everything nice and stable in the base. And then I just want you to start to extend over the ball and flex forward. So we're not going to worry about tempo here, just kind of mobilizing through the spinal column. Getting things a little bit more heated and functionally moving. So really just trying to keep your glutes active to again stabilize more from the base. Your foot position is nice and strong onto your mat or onto the floor. So maybe 10 or so more of these. Every once in a while it might feel good to add some extension, kind of with rotation. Whole time I'm really focused on keeping everything strong from my hips down. Then instead of rotating on the way back, I want you to keep it straight and then rotate on the way forward. So this whole time the head is pressing into the hands. Glutes are nice and strong. You can even start to incorporate a little bit more breath connection. So when you're lifting, exhale. And every time you exhale, kind of feel like you're cinching a corset around your torso. So you're getting that external core to compress just a little bit more. Then you're going to combine the rotations, both forward and back, and you're going to start to circumduct or rotate all the way around. Still working from that nice stable base. And then just reverse it. One side might feel a little bit better in your movement than the other. Just take note of that and see how you can create some symmetry. And just give yourself a nice little stretch. Kind of open up from the ribs down. And I want to get into a little bit of breath work. So move the ball off to the side. Bring your legs to tabletop or 90 at the knee, 90 at the hip. And then just relax your arms down by your sides, or you can kind of focus on where the breath is coming from or into the base of your abdominals, into your pelvis. So whatever feels better for you at that hand position. And I want you to feel like you're knitting the base of your ribs down toward your pelvis. At the same time, you're lengthening the back ribs down toward your pelvis. So you're creating just a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. And then that same external core brace, or that corset cinching, I want you to notice around your torso. And then just focus on your breath in from the diaphragm against that external core brace. So you're just going to do this maybe for about a minute. Getting everything more stable. Back's feeling nice and long. Neck is relaxed, shoulders aren't shrugged. There's not a lot of arm press. Really just focusing onto that breath into the base of the abdominals, into the base of the pelvic girdle. So you're kind of feeling full, but pressure. I have no idea how long that was, but it feels pretty long. So now that we've done a little bit of a warm-up, go ahead and help yourself forward and up. We're going to get into a little stability like we did before. I want you to grab your ballast ball. You're going to come to a forearm plank. So on top of that ball, unstable base, make sure that you take your feet a little bit wider than hip to give yourself a little bit more balance, or more narrow if you want to keep it much more unstable. But the focus is here, not letting yourself collapse into the ball, but pushing forward, almost like you're trying to do an elbow or tricep extension, the same time you're protracting your shoulder blades. So in that forceful, strong upper body, I want you to squeeze your glutes, find that same hollow feel that you did in the breath work, and just breathe into that bracing. So the thighs are nice and strong, your glutes are very active, everything is solid from the lats up to the shoulders. And then we're gonna make it more dynamic by just punching the ball front and back. Just gonna do 5 more, total of 10. Everything from the base, stay nice and strong. 3, 2, and then just add an angle from one side to the other. So it's very similar to our warm-up, adding a little multi-direction. Still about that whole trunk stability, starting with the pelvis and that firm foot pressure. Let's do 1 more to each side. And like we did with the torso and that circumduction, I want you to give me a little around the world. Let's do 1 more and reverse it. And then just a little cobra, child's pose with the ball. So a nice long lat stretch, letting your hips fall back, your chest collapse down, and your head hang heavy. Then go ahead and bring yourself forward and up. Take your head and shoulders onto the ball. So now we're unstable again, but this time with more of the posterior tension. You can have your hands behind your back, behind your head. You can rest them on your pelvis, you can extend them up to the sky, but I want you to find that really strong shoulder blade and head anchor position on the ball to drive the pelvis up without bridging from the base of the ribs. So you're gonna again knit down and feel that same corset. So I like to keep my hands up. It reminds me about that retraction in the shoulders. And then from this position, we're gonna work to keep a nice stable pelvis, but just start to march the feet. Again, anchoring the head, neck, and shoulders. Glutes are very active. Trying not to let my back go into a big arch. Last 2. And then gently releasing down from the pelvis, coming back up to that bridge. Even when I'm dropping down with the pelvis, I want you to make sure that you're not letting your back again go into a big extensive arch. So just finding a little bit more of that shifting from the hip hinge into that nice strong spine. Let's do 2 more. So most everything is in reps of 10. Then gently release that all the way down. So now I want you to move the ball underneath your shins and come into a high plank with your hands on the floor. Find that same hollow brace, protraction of your scap, and that same strong hip extension with the glutes. So you can just hold here and maybe start to wiggle the ball, creating more of that usage in your torso through your shoulders. Or you can add some hinging from the knees and the hips and start to jackknife by bringing your knees in and then to one side. Little combination of center, side to side. I think that's 3. That's 5. This is 8. Last time. And then as you step off, come back onto your back. Bring your ball with you. So if you have a stability ball, a little less weight, you can always opt to hold maybe a medicine ball if you want some extra weight, or the ballast ball obviously is maybe around 5 pounds. So you can bring that ball with you, or that weight with you. Hold it between your legs. It can be around the lower leg with the feet, or it can be all the way between the thighs and the lower legs. So whatever feels more stable for you. Arms can rest down by your sides, overhead, or maybe even into a goal post. But we're just going to start to do a reverse curl and a tap down. Let's do 5 more. Then I'm going to take the ball all the way in my lowest position by my ankles and feet, extend my arms down by my sides, and extend the knees fully straight up. So right away, I want you to feel that closing in, that corset cinch, that breath into your brace from the warm-up, and find your legs in a lowered position that starts to challenge the low back from leaving the floor. So just right here, I already notice everything through the midline, and everything really trying to pull and stabilize so that ball doesn't hit the floor. So a little hollow body hold. You can even take the arms up, head up, shoulders up, and make it more intensive. But there's a lot of adduction holding that ball all the way through the midline of the leg and how it connects to the pelvis. Let's hold here for just a couple more seconds, shaking like a leaf. And then gently release. Whew. Just kind of releasing a little tension of the back. And one more thing for the posterior chain, kind of working a little bit more into the whole limb connection with the core. I want you to take the feet, the soles of the feet on the ball, your hands down by your sides. Find that same hip bridge from earlier, but now obviously a little bit more range of motion. Head, neck, and shoulders again stable on the floor. That hollowing still into the belly. Then you're going to extend the legs forward. Keep the glutes strong, pull it back in. If this feels really stable for you and you want more of a challenge, you can extend to lift the lower arms, or you can even extend to lift the entire arm straight up to the sky. But again, you're keeping everything really solid around that whole torso line and that constant diaphragmatic braced breath. Good morning, hammies. And then just release it down. So because I was in a forward flexed position when I was on the bike, I'm going to do a little bit more of an extension-based stretch, something that feels really good, especially if you've been sitting a lot, all this work from home, or leaning over your kids doing homework. Extend the legs forward, widen your base of support to give you a little bit more balance, and then just let yourself fall over the ball, your hips hang heavy, your chest and ribs start to open and your arms extend out. You can bring your hands behind your head for support, lift yourself forward and up, come all the way back to that seated position. That's it, that's all it takes. A couple extra minutes a day, you can fit it in wherever you can. Miss you guys, hope to see you soon.